Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of The Good, the Bad, the Awesome Datacron set 32 called Necessary Means. This is a 3v3 Datacron set, meaning there'll be 2 seasons of it in 3v3 and only one for 5v5. So just keep that in mind as we're going through stuff. It's an interesting set because it's role based, like attacker, tank, support, all that. No alignments, which I think might be the first time I've ever seen that. If not, there's one other time, but I think it's the first time they've ever done that. And there's no focus datacrons, but maybe that's fine because it's such a broad application. You might want to load up on as many normal datacrons as you can. So let's get into it. First off, we have the stats, and I have decided I do think I want crit damage in the awesome category. So pending, there's no defense in a set, and defense is only amazing because of the values they give us. They're super high values. Offense would be good if they gave us good values. They don't. So offense is bad, but I think health, protection, and crit damage are the best. Health probably being the top because it's just there's a broader application. The value protection is also really good, but crit damage is probably your best damage modifier, especially since we have no armor pen or anything. So I think these are the clear stats to go for: health, crit damage, and protection. Me personally, if I get a level 9 or level 7 or 8 that has almost the max of offense, yeah, I'd probably keep that. But in general, throughout the set, like the level 1 and 2 and the level 4 and 5, the values are terrible. Crit chance, good for like special damage dealers if you have a specific purpose in mind for that. Otherwise, most attackers have plenty of crit chance. But if you don't have good crit chance on your Ben Solo or something like that, or Qui-Gon or whatever, that might be worth it. Potency and tenacity, I decided to put in the good category because they are situational. There's good values for potency for sure. Tenacity, you can make it work. There's teams that are going to want some potency and tenacity, so definitely not a complete waste. But yeah, that's how it shakes out. And for the level 3s, it's just alignment. Just because it's an old asset, but it's not really an alignment. The first set is healers. So we have healers and tanks for the level 3s. And your level 6s and level 9s are restricted based on that. So you need to roll healer to get an attacker cron, and you need to roll a tank level 3 to get a support level 6. We got a few decent ones. Nothing crazy good. Nothing awesome. I think it's just kind of like a gateway to attacker crons. That's how I think of it. And there's 4 decent options, one you don't want to get. So this is the first time a healer falls below 50% health. They get damage remaining for 1 turn, health steal for 2 turns. First of all, health steal up doesn't really do much for healers because most of them don't really do much damage. And that's not really going to save you too much. This one is, when they target someone else, they increase their defense, max health, and protection. And healers do, some of them have targeting abilities, but it's kind of iffy. Healers start the battle with damage remaining for 2 turns. I think that's pretty good. That's decent. That might be the one I'd choose to go for. Whenever healer allies recover protection, they gain protection. It's a fairly common thing to recover protection, but it's very slow. So it's definitely not an awesome one. And then if they start their turn with at least 2 debuff that can be dispelled, 65% chance to dispel debuff. So that's great. I don't think it's like a huge reroll priority to try to get. There's no specific healer one you really, really want to get. So I think that should be, a lifted weight off people's shoulders. You can roll. Even this one, honestly, it's barely in the bad category. I would think just any of them will do something. None of them are going to do a huge deal. So if you're looking for attacker crons, you roll healer, good. Don't care what it is, just move on. That's pretty much how I see it. Now with tanks, I do think we have a better batch for them, specifically for how tanks work. So this one I don't normally rate as awesome, but for a tank, I think this is going to be pretty good. At the end of each turn, tank allies recover health and protection equal to 50% of the amount enemies recovered that turn. This recovery can't trigger this effect on enemies. So think of your for your tanks that are your really core tanks, like Vayne or Kylo Ren Unmasked or General Kenobi. This is automatic health and protection recovery for them. And it's not the main focus of any Datacron, whatever this ability is. If you're going to go for a support cron, But it's nice, especially for the damage for the one that's taking the most damage. I think that's pretty good. And then whenever a tank is critically hit, they get 100% crit avoidance, crit chance for two turns. And that's stacks, by the way. I think that probably goes up to like several hundred. Um, so if you get critically hit, you get up 100% crit damage, crit avoidance. If they happen to crit again, you get even more. So that's great for the survivability of a tank. Ones that are bad is stacking potency and tenacity when a debuff expires. I mean, there could be situational use for that. I just don't think it, I don't know. You'd have to have a super debuff heavy team. It'd be very specific. I love this one too. Ability block, just on somebody. Like if no one has ability block, the tank damages them. They're going to get ability block. That's pretty good. And then retribution for 3 turns is also decent. So this one is kind of borderline. I just think it's something people should go for, and it might be really annoying. But I would say, only focus on getting a tank one if you're not going to go for an attacker cron. I think the attacker crons are going to be the highlight of this set, but there are some good support ones too. And here they are, the attacker crons, particularly this first awesome one. Whenever attacker ally has full health and protection at the start of their turn, they deal 100% more damage on their turn. So if you're thinking Grand Arena, people are already focused on getting full health and full protection for banners. So it can be fairly common to have an attacker start their turn and have full both, especially if you have initiative. We don't have any turn meter gain, level 3s or on this or anything. But the last set that has that, I think, is expiring. I don't know if the blue one has it, but the green one's expiring. So those jump starts aren't really going to be there. If you have a fast team, you're getting a start off, especially for Galactic Legend. That's going to hit pretty hard. Think Supreme Leader Kylo. I love that one. That's going to be really good. And since almost every team has an attacker on it, you could just spam this one. It might be just like you reroll off of tank to get healer so you can get attacker. I don't know. And then at the start of their first turn, attacker allies gain offense equal to 400% of their defense, and then they lose 50% defense. It's good. It's really good. Just because it's extra offense you wouldn't otherwise have. And then whatever you have on top of that, mastery gains, buffs. It's great, and it's not contingent on having full health and full protection all the time. So I do think that merits being in the awesome category. The good category is if they inflict a debuff, bonus damage equal to 10%. This is particularly good for Jabba the Hutt team, or like a Leia team, because it's any attacker. Normally this is for like a specific faction, so it's very limited. But in this case, it's anyone that's an attacker. So that's a lot. Like Drogon is an attacker, Boosh is an attacker, Skiff Lando's an attacker, Boba Fett's an attacker, Embo's an attacker. All kinds of stuff. So that one's going to be really good. If you get that one, I wouldn't re-roll constantly for these two. I would keep some of these. That's going to be helpful. This one, at the start of each attacker ally's turn, if they've not taken damage, they get crit chance and offense up for 1 turn. It's too situational, too short. And then when they crit an enemy, they get 10% offense for 2 turns. It's just too short of a time frame. Maybe someone can maximize it to the best. But it has to be during their own turn. If it was like any mass swarm, any assists got that, you could really stack up, but it's just really limited. So I think that one's bad. But attacker's probably the best faction out of the whole thing. Best level 6. But the supports do have some great stuff going for them too. We have a Grit Cron coming back. So the downside of this is I think of Grit more as a better tool for when you have an entire faction getting it. Like a while ago, Imperial Troopers had this, and they could take out Jabba in the right circumstance. It basically makes everyone kind of like Malak. They lose all their max protection, gain that much health. They take reduced damage from percent damage health effects. So most teams are only going to have 1 or 2 supports, like maybe 3. So there are going to be vulnerable people on your team. So if you're just trying to go in against a team that's so much percent health damage based, it's just kind of an issue. And I think for teams like, I don't know, Satil, that just wouldn't help. Like, well, Satil's a tank, so it wouldn't affect her. It's good. It's just more limited in the sense that you're only going to have a couple of your characters having this. Whereas with the attacker, you only need the one attacker killing people, so it has a broader applicability. And then whenever a support ally defeats an enemy, they take a bonus turn. So I do think this is great for damage dealing support characters. like Dash Rendar, or if you're using like Jedi Master Luke, you call a support to assist and they get a kill, they're gonna get a bonus turn. I think that's great too. It just depends. I think it's more common for the attacker to be the damage dealer. This is the same thing. Whenever support allies recover health, they recover protection. Or no, it's not the same thing as the tank one. When they recover health, they also recover protection equal to the amount recovered. So it's just great for getting topped off, but it's good. It's okay. When support allies stun an enemy, they can speed up an offense up and expose the enemy. It's just too situational. I mean, like Palpatine, that's going to be pretty good. Speed up and a lot of expose, but it's too situational, limited. At the end of the turn, support allies recover 50% protection if they inflict at least 5 debuffs that turn. I don't know why they hang on to these crap abilities so long. This one has been around forever, 4 years, and it's never been good. It's just so limited. 5 debuffs, that's just either an AoE debuff. It has to be like an AoE debuff. It's just very uncommon. But they just hang on to it. Maybe they just want something for people to reroll. But yeah, you're gonna need tank to get support, so you can make some good combinations. I can't even begin to speculate like the full theory craft. That I'll leave that to someone else. It's just because every team in the game can have tanks and supports. But I would just grab at least a couple tank and supports for everybody. On to the level 9s, starting with the healer / attacker level 9s. Everything on this page is kind of limited by the team they would go on and the fact that it's 3v3 and they can't just tag along. So Tusken Shaman, 3v3. You're not going to have Tusken Shaman in 3v3. If you're going to use Tuskens, you're going to use Tusken Raider with its Omicron, Chieftain, and Warrior. Just not going to happen. The first time a Tusken ally inflicts a debuff each turn, they gain 5 stacks of heal over time. Inflict the target enemy with 2 stacks of damage over time. And the first time an ally loses momentum each turn, they gain 1 momentum for 3 turns. 2 stacks of heal over time. Trigger all allies stacks of heal over time. And trigger all enemies stacks of damage over time. Now maybe there's some theory craft where it's you leave out Warrior and you have Tusken Chieftain, Tusken Shaman, and Tusken Raider. I don't know, maybe that's just a crazy momentum trap, but it just seems a little hard to get on board with. Talia, whenever a Night Sister ally uses a special ability on an enemy with any stacks of plague, other Night Sister allies assist a random enemy is afflicted with 1 stack of plague. And the cooldown of Water of Life is reduced by 1. Above their tails, and is the leader slot at the start of the battle. At the start of each Night Sister ally's turn, all plague enemies are marked for 1 turn. So 3v3, you know, it's limited. The Talzin team isn't that great anymore. Maybe make it work with Talzin, Marin, and Talia. Although it's just hard to see. But it's good, you know, extra plague, extra cooldown reduction. I don't know. But it's hard to see it really thriving. Princess Nissa, limited by being Ewoks. Whenever Nissa attacks out of turn, she gains 10% crit damage and offense up to 200% until she's defeated. She triple attacks with her basics that can stack up fast. If there are no GLs at all at the start of the battle, her out of turn attacks gain an additional 15% crit damage and offense. And they ignore protection and deal an additional instance of true damage. So this could be awesome. I don't know. It just depends on the use case. That Nissa's going to hit pretty hard. It just really depends on how much true damage it is. Like, whenever it says true damage, it's like, I don't know what that means. It ignores any defense, but it's like, what's the base? It could be amazing. It could be a trivial. So who knows? Maybe it could be awesome. I don't know. Whenever Nissa uses a special, the target enemy is inflicted with 1 stack of damage over time. That's kind of whatever. Which it can ramp a lot. It really depends on the true damage. It could be bumped up to an awesome, but for now I just say good because it's Ewoks. Awesome ones. We got Cobb Vanth and Batcher. There's another one that could potentially go on a Cobb Vanth theme. But this one is going to have attacker. And I'll admit, I am no expert on Cobb Vanth right now, but I do think it, given his mechanics, is quite strong. At the start of the battle, if all allies are Constable, Jawa, or Tusken, gain the following effects. Constable support allies are inflicted with marked, and there's a clause in his kit, I think it means where they can't take damage or something, or can't be defeated. I think it might be can't be defeated, so that's helpful. The first time Cobb Vanth uses high noons against each enemy, they gain the outlaw tag. So normally outlaw is like scoundrel, mercenary, like Hutt Cartel, stuff like that. So this would do it to enemies that don't have those to start, so that's good. Whenever a Cobb uses high noons against an enemy with an outlaw tag, it reduces the cooldown for high noons by 3. So he'll be a revolving door of high noons. So I think it's going to be pretty good. He's already doing well in general, so he's just going to take a step up. And if you have the attacker level 6 with the 100% the 100% extra damage, I don't know. That's going to be pretty crazy. Possible batcher mechanics. So it's funny that they say possible batcher mechanics. They put this language in when they had multiple abilities for each unit, but it's still in even when there's only one ability for each character. I think it's just a little sloppy holdover. But no, they're not possible. These are the ones that are happening. We've had this before, and this was great. Batcher is immune to daze and stun. Whenever Batcher damages an enemy, she removes 15% turn meter and gains that much turn meter. That's okay. Here's the kicker. If there are no GLs, enemies can't gain bonus turn meter. So she's like a mini JMK with that. That is great. And there's plenty of teams that aren't GL teams that are crazy good on defense and rely on turn meter. This is going to be fantastic. This is just a bit of the boost that new Bad Batch needs to gain widespread relevance, so I think they're going to be pretty nice. And think of what is it, Crosshair with that 100% extra damage from the attackers. Datacron, amazing. Whenever another Bad Batch ally is inflicted with captive, reset the cooldown of Batch's abilities, dispel select debuffs on her, and she takes a bonus turn. That's like a bailout mechanic. Someone goes down to 0, they go to into hiding, captive. Batcher comes in, can mark someone. That's great. I really love that, so I'm definitely pick that one up. Next up, we have the tank support combos. We got Chief Nebbit at the start of the battle. All Jawa allies gain 300% bonus protection. Whenever an enemy is inflicted with a thermal, Nebbit gains 25% defense up to 400%, and Jawa allies recover 25% health protection. That's decent on a Cobb Vanth team. I think it would be like second fiddle to Cobb Vanth himself. But again, I'm not an expert on that. But I think it's decent in theory. Or you could just run with pure Jawas, and maybe that's a lot of extra survivability. You can't dispel bonus protection, so I don't know. Tarful, this is a great ability. It's just limited by it being Wookiees, but I don't know. Look out for Wookiees. This is pretty strong. If there are no GLs, Wookiee allies gain 1 stack of Bulwark for 1 turn each time they attack out of turn, are critically hit, evade, or lose taunt. So that's a lot of conditions that makes it happen. Bulwark is just, I think it's like 250% defense. It goes away when you get hit. That's a lot of defense. That's a lot of survivability. That could be really annoying. Although it's not like it can't be prevented. So if you get buff immunity, that's a way around it. I don't know. I think it's good. Just look out. It could be great. Paplu. Well, Paplu taunts for 2 turns at the start of each battle, which can't be dispelled. If there are no GLs, allies ignore taunt effects while Paplu is taunting. When Paplu uses special abilities, they gain 50%. Allies gain 50% defense and offense up to 300% and recover 25% health and protection. When Paplu uses Galvanize, decrease the cooldowns of all Ewoks by 2. So that's a lot of damage. And it's not just Nisa, it's all allies. So I don't know. Theory crafting potential for Ewoks. I'm not going to bet on them being like a big threat in Kyber 1 or anything. But keep an eye out. If you're a lower level and you love Ewoks, if you're Gerbil, you're going to be happy to have both of these as options. And last, but certainly not least, perhaps the most ridiculous ability I've ever seen in Jar Jar. So we'll get to second. Jar Jar. I think anyone that has Gungans, you're going to want to pick this up, of course. When Jar Jar inflicts a debuff, and he does a lot of debuffs, or is inflicted with a debuff, he gains 7% turn meter. That's going to be a lot of turn meter for Jar Jar. Whenever a Gungan ally assists Jar Jar, so whenever he misses, everyone mass assists. So that happens kind of a lot. They shock the target enemy for 1 turn, and if they are inflicted with plasma for 1 turn, if they are inflicted with plasma residue. That's kind of whatever. It's more situational. Otherwise, apply a stack of frustration 1 turn. Much better. Frustration is a pain. At the start of each other Gungan ally's turn, they inflict accuracy down and evasion down on the healthiest enemy for 1 turn. If all allies are Gungans at the start of the battle, it's funny, Gungan. Gungans at the start of the battle, whenever Jar Jar evades an attack, which he has 100% evasion, a random enemy's cooldowns are increased by 1, and a random Gungan ally's cooldowns are decreased by 1. Nothing huge on its own, but it all adds up to just make it a strong team. Cooldown reduction, cooldown increase, turn meter gain for extra frustration, accuracy down, evasion down. That's a lot of things. So that's a must-have for pretty much anyone, Caliber 1, Caliber 2, that has Gungans. Yeah, just pick it up. Now for Ugnaught, we have a book. And sometimes they have these really crappy characters, and it's something that doesn't, I don't think it goes far enough to make them useful or viable. I think this probably makes this Ugnaught team viable. At the start of the battle, if Hondo and Ezra are allies and there are no other allies, gain the following effects. So in the 2 3v3 seasons, that's going to be normal. In 5v5, they're going to have to underman, but I think they might be able to do it. At the start of each turn, so there could be a coding weird thing to this. I read that as every ally's turn, every enemy's turn. If Hondo has more stacks of ransom than Ugnaught, which only Hondo gains it naturally, Ugnaught and Ezra gain 2 stacks of ransom, max 50. And if you don't remember what ransom does, it's plus 2% max health and tenacity. So, pretty nice. Which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. And all allies gain 25% offense and defense for the rest of the battle. So every turn that Hondo has more stacks of ransom than Ugnaught and Ezra. So he gets like 10. So if he's a little slow to gain it at first, but eventually he starts getting it very fast. That's a lot of max stacks. So that's going to be a max multiplier of 25 because Hondo can get up to 50. So 25 times 25, that's what, 525 or something, 550? I don't know. It's a lot. 625%? Yeah, math is hard, but I think it's a crazy high potential. These increases persist through defeat. Whenever Ezra Bridger assists, he gains dramatic interest for 1 turn. Which is, offense or something. I don't know. It's good. The strongest ally who doesn't already have it gains Frenzy, so bonus, like 300% turn meter when an ally uses special, until the start of the next turn, and the weakest ally who doesn't already have it gains Tactile Genius for 1 turn. So we're getting all kinds of random unique buffs. Whenever Ugnaught uses his basic, dispel all debuffs on all allies, then all allies assist a total of 6 times? Is that each ally, or I don't know, 3 each? That's a lot. Whenever Ugnaught uses a special ability, dispel all enemy buffs and fracture them until the start of Ugnaught's next turn or until Ugnaught is defeated. All kinds of unique buffs, debuffs, all over the place. At the start of the battle, all allies gain 400% bonus protection, not dispellable, just the purple without the icon, and backup plan for the rest of the battle. So once they die, they come back. Whenever an enemy takes damage, all allies recover 30% health. At the start of the battle, if Ugnaught is on offense, so that's the one limiter, is trying to make it all offense only, but this is the kicker. All allies gain 50% evasion till the end of the battle. If there are no GLs, they gain additional 50. So 100% evasion on offense if you're not fighting GLs. Forget the bros protection and the backup plan, you can't even hit them. This is going to be Cheese City. I think this is a must-have. I think this is a huge reason to take your Ugnaught to Relic 6 if you don't have them there already. I've never bought anything in the game, so I don't have the Relic 9 or Relic 10 Ugnaught that people got from their meme thing, but that's going to be getting some value. So it's like Cup and Ugnaught really rising in their stock recently. I think this is crazy. I can't even begin to speculate on the use cases, but OG Hondo and Ezra can do some decent damage already. So with all this survivability, so the only thing working against them is they're not like immune to any kind of like debuffs. So I think you could like daze them or fracture them, stun them, just control them. So I think it might not be the best on defense, but on offense, you could cheese the crap out of it. I am really interested to see what these guys do, especially in 3v3. It's going to be crazy. And for our final segment, this is the reroll priorities as I see them. So last priority is alignment. Like I said, it's kind of just like if you get a healer, keep it to get the attacker one. If you got a tank, there's some to reroll, but otherwise, it's not a huge deal. Character is the third priority. Because there's a few you want to pick up, but ultimately you want like a broad base of these because it can be used on anything. So if there's one sit to stock up on, probably this, just because everyone kind of uses it. I don't know, maybe I could be wrong because we don't have level 3s like alignments. Stats, second priority, you want to make sure you're getting the good stats, and then the first priority, most important to reroll, is the faction. So the attacker or the support, because we have some really good standouts for both attacker and support, so you want to make sure you pick up plenty of those. Yeah, that's it for this set. There's no focus Datacrons. It's very interesting. I think it's very odd, and Ugnaught is crazy. That'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So let me know what you think of this set. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See ya.